What is up, y'all? Welcome back out to the bench in the backyard. My name is Jordan, and this is the Precumbens Nana. You're going to hear that a lot, I guess. You've already heard that a lot. I like Precumbens. I don't know why people hate on Precumbens so much. I mean, it's a great bonsai subject. I mean, it's... You can neglect it, forget about it for like a year or two, and you come back and it still looks like a bonsai. They're really easy to turn into bonsai, especially if you can find stake junipers like this. They're just super duper trees. I really like them. I just think that more people should. I mean, I know they're not as flashy as some of these big giant $10,000 trees that you find on some other people's videos, but whew. All right, so this guy, what are we going to be doing to it? So it's getting a new pot today. It's going to be going into a bonsai pot. Not sure which one. We'll find out as soon as I get these roots taken care of, see how small we can make this root ball without compromising the health of the tree. But because it is a juniper and juniper strength is in their foliage, we can take off a little bit more roots than you would with a pine or other conifer, especially pines. Pines, their strength is in their roots. So you don't want to take a whole lot off of a pine's roots without some major thought. Excuse me. So first thing we're doing, cleaning off some of this moss. I'm putting it up there so that I can classify it. And we'll throw some back onto the top of this pot once it gets potted. And then we'll just come in here and start working the soil away, starting from the top. Being kind of gentle, we don't want to rip the roots. We just want to kind of work out a good bit of this nursery soil. If you saw the last video, which was much bigger Shinpaku juniper, it was potted in a combination of nursery soil and aggregate soil, so it had a little bit of bonsai soil in it, but it looked like it was just pumice and lava with the nursery soil in there. So it's probably a combination of peat, topsoil, a little bit of decomposed pine bark, probably some other stuff in there too. But it didn't, the roots were so compacted and they had gotten so coarse that in the middle, the entire root ball had dried out. I got lucky in that it didn't kill the roots off. They had gotten long enough and they were super coarse there in the middle. So that's what we're trying to avoid by getting a whole bunch of this loose nursery soil out. Because if we just leave it in there and everything gets all compacted, it's very hard to get that to get water back to it. Get a splinter. The core of this root ball, it's got a bunch of perlite in it. Definitely want to get as much of that out as we can. Perlite's great for water retention, but that's what we have akadama in our mix for. Got some fairly coarse roots down here in the middle, which is really to be expected. And so what we did is I just chased back where all the ends were going. That's the extent of the fine roots that we have on the end of this one. So I can take that one all the way back. So we've got that. And I've got this really coarse one. We've already cut a deal with the roots off of it. So there's not a whole lot left to it. And that'll open up that center a good bit so that we can come back in there and get rid of some of that perlite. There's a little bit more. This is about as far as I want to take it up into the root ball. But I do want to get this perlite out, because there's just no way for those roots to get into it and break it down and start dividing in it. So they're just going to create coarser and coarser roots right here. Don't get me wrong, I use perlite. I use it for my seedlings with a little bit of vermiculite and some cocoa coir. I will also use it if I'm trying to make like a exposed root tree. Put a good bit of that. I'll put a little bit of cocoa coir in with it, with the roots up high, and then down at the bottom, I'll usually plant that either into a heavier mix of coconut coir and perlite, or I'll plant that straight down into like a bonsai substrate, or just regular potting soil. Think I've gotten most of it. I'm seeing a few bigger pieces of perlite, but for the most part, it's just, I don't know if you've ever gotten a large bag of perlite, like a 5-gallon bag of perlite, or 45 liters, or however they sell it. Then you'll know that it's pretty dusty. Even the large perlite gets pretty dusty, and you get a lot of little small pieces. Kind of like with a bag of akadama that you order, and by the time it gets to you, there's half a cup of dust down in the bottom. Same deal with the perlite, just a little bit worse. There's just a lot of dust in it. Well, all right, that's about as far as I'm going to go. There's still a few big pieces, but I think that's most of it. The next time we repot this, we can take a little bit more out. So I got some thick roots. Come in here. If I do find a pocket, just come in, my chopstick, make our little one more. All right, so we got some holes so that we can help fill in this hole down at the bottom. Let me go grab a couple of pots. All right, so probably a little big. Can't really see anything. I'm in the shade today. So planting angle could be something like that. I think this pot is a little big for this, which means this one will be too, although not quite as too big. That actually doesn't look too bad. So about like that. I kind of like that look. And of course that fits perfectly. Which is the one that I was kind of thinking. I've got one that's a slightly bigger round. It's a really nice pot. Something along that line. I think we are going to go with the smaller round. I think. Let me go make sure there's nothing else that I have. All right, so we got single hole down at the bottom, which means we're going to have to tie in a little bit differently. Oh, there it is. All right, so I've got 2 wires here. And it does not matter which of these that we tie to the other when we do it this way, because, you know, if you've got 2 going separately, in between, say, these 2 holes and these 2, or these 2 holes and these 2 holes, like if you've got your 1 wire running here, 1 wire running, or say you're going this way, and you don't pick the 2 wires that are paired, when you pull up, you might pull both of those wires all the way through the pot. Then you got to start your repot all over again. Not really good for your trees. Not good for really anything. And so with this, instead of putting our normal little eyeglasses thing down in there, we're going to come in with our wire. Well, I guess it'll be easier to go ahead, feed all of our wire up through. All right, and so we're just long enough that if we get pulled all the way over to the side, it still holds on no matter which way. We're going to try and keep that centered as best as possible. All right, so I was wrong. We're going to go ahead and tie the screen down into the pot. Take our aeration layer. Just 1 particle size deep down here in the bottom. And this is our normal 111 pumice akadama lava rock mix that I sifted all of the particles that are over 3/8 of an inch, and that's what I'm using. Then we just sift our fines out. We'll put a layer of our regular size. So this is going to be everything, including that that larger size mixture. And then right here in the middle, we're going to build us a little cone. And then what we're going to do, we're going to wrap this around. Making sure that we get up underneath all of these surface roots. Because we don't want to scar those at all. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. So you see we've got this surface root right here that we want to get up underneath. And I try and do this just up underneath the surface roots so that we hide our wire. And so now we've got each of these that we're gonna, then just to remind us where that hole is, put our stick back in. We'll do the same thing over here. And there we go. That pot is not moving at all. We're almost not moving at all. Pull up and tighten. Rocking a little bit. There we go. All right. So there's all our holes marked. Just like that. And then we come in here, trimming through any of these roots that we know won't go down in the soil if they're growing straight up. So there we are. That's our front right there with our foot facing towards you. There's also a front over here split. We could take out this one and have another front over here. Or over here. So it's got a lot of different fronts that we can use. We'll go ahead, get soil in here. Then right here around the outside, first make sure you cut out your tie-in wires. So last thing I need is 2 giant wires sticking up out of a bonsai. All right. That's better. And this first little trip around, all we're really worried about is getting soil in between the pot and the roots. That way those roots that are on the outside have something to grow into. I'll do this once with the big stick, and then I'll come back in with a smaller chopstick and do it again, just to make sure, because there's definitely a spot right here. And then once we do that, we'll come over here and chopstick into the side of the root ball. Try and get some of that soil shoved up into the nursery soil that was left. And as soil leaves that hole, we can push more over to it. Had to go get another chopstick that was a little bit shorter. Just so I could fit up in here and get the soil worked in. And the next thing we're going to do is where each of these holes were, We're just going to make sure that we get everything packed down into the center of that root mass. So there's our tree. Eventually what we're going to be doing, this branch will go away, coming off the front right here. We may gin it. We may just cut it all the way back. Turn the front of this into some shari maybe. We shall see. But that's definitely going away. This will get lightened up a whole lot. We may actually get rid of all of this. So everything that I'm holding might go away. We'll be left with just this down here. So it would just be, ow, these two branches, maybe even just this one branch. That one might go too. I've got this branch here in the back that we could use after we take this out to bring forward to kind of tie the two apexes together. So we'll have an apex down here and a separate apex up here, facing you. So that will be our tree. We'll see this one again either August or next year. Don't know which one it'll be. Depends on whether or not it recovers. And yeah, so if you liked what you saw today, go ahead, leave a like, subscription down below. If not, please leave a comment. Let me know what I need to do to make my trees better, to make my videos better, all of that stuff. Can't get any better if I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I know I should probably talk more during the videos. I don't know if y'all prefer the me just explaining what I'm doing and then showing you the whole process, just sped up, or if you would like me to do a little more commentary. I try and stop and talk when I see something, like today when I got into that perlite. I'm like, hey, there's a whole bunch of perlite in here. We need to dig this out so that we don't cause issues later on. So yeah, we'll do that. Well, I'll keep doing this the way it's done. It's been going, so you won't see any changes because of that for a couple of weeks. I'm getting close to the end of repotting. Today is March the 9th. If that gives y'all a hint of how many videos I've been doing. I think I started with my deciduous trees 2 weeks ago. Started junipers this week. I've still got a few of my deciduous conifers. I've got a dawn redwood that's in a pot, and I've got all the ones in the ground. They haven't budded out yet, so I haven't started on them. I've also got a bunch of bald cypresses that are going to be going in the ground, which I need to go and buy some tiles to plant them on. But that'll be in a future video. When I plant those in the ground, we'll be looking at everything that is currently in the ground, including I've got those dawn redwoods are looking pretty good by now. I've got one that's probably 7 foot tall already. Y'all saw when I planted those less than a year and a half ago. I planted them in the fall of 2024. One of them's already 7 feet tall. Definitely going to have to cut them next year. Probably dig them as well, because it's about time to get those out of the ground and into a bonsai pot to start making everything a little bit better. So, all of that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, if not, then leave a comment. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. But until the next time I see y'all out at the bench in the backyard, just remember to grow them big, but keep them small.